Hello to the Columbus Zoo and the people of Columbus, Ohio. My name is Tara Stawinski and I am with the Diane Fossey Gorilla Fund. And I'd like to thank you for your incredible support of our mission to help people and save gorillas. Columbus Zoo is actually our longest running zoo supporter. And thanks to the decades of financial support that you have given, we are able to keep our tracker teams in the forest 365 days a year, protecting gorillas and their incredible forest habitat. And as a result, mountain gorillas are the only great ape in the wild that is increasing in number. Your support also helps the people of Rwanda and Congo. We do livelihoods, conservation education, and food security work, all aimed at improving the lives of people because we know that for the gorillas to thrive, people must thrive too. So thank you again for your dedication to conservation and our mission. We're incredibly proud to be partners with you.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Wine for Wildlife 2020. My name is Hardy Kern. This is my very good friend Templeton the Bearcat, and we are so excited that you have chosen to spend your evening helping us to fund wildlife conservation all around the globe. We are coming to you from the Adventure Cove Tour Space, one of the brand new areas at the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium, where you can get up close and personal with wildlife, just like Templeton here. In fact, an Adventure Cove Tour is just one of the amazing experiences that you can bid on with our online auction this year. Make sure that if you do decide to bid on something, you keep checking back throughout the evening because other people probably think it's just as cool as you do, and they might be trying to outbid you, so don't let that happen. We also have some awesome bottles of wine available for you. And animals like Templeton, they seem to like grapes as well, but he seems to prefer them when they're still whole and haven't been mashed up into something that he can drink. We will also have the opportunity to contribute to our Fund a Need, which helps us combat wildlife emergencies around the globe as they pop up. So stick around, we'll get started in just a moment, and thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Good evening, and thank you for attending this year's virtual Wine for Wildlife. My name is Greg Maurer, Executive Vice President and General Manager of Heidelberg Distributing Company. We at Heidelberg Distributing have been involved with Wine for Wildlife from the beginning. It is so great to see this event can survive COVID and be a virtual event this year. As in the past, we're excited to provide some of the auction lots for tonight's event. Scan the QR code on the screen now to access a special price on a 4-pack of rare and highly acclaimed Torbeck wines. Tonight's proceeds go towards the support of the zoo's conservation partners and projects in the U.S. and around the world. Please support conservation and wildlife by giving tonight. No amount is too small. Keep watching for ways in which your donation will protect and sustain wildlife all over the world. Thank you for spending your evening with us. Enjoy the show, and as always, go Bucks!
Hi everybody, it's Angela Ann from WBNS 10 TV, but tonight I'm coming to you from my zoo in my home. I mean, I've got a bear, a panda, a dragon, a manatee, and a human. We're having fun tonight because we hope you will too at the annual Wine for Wildlife. It's a little different, we're all virtual, but know that what you are doing tonight, your efforts will help out conservation all around the world. And that is what the Columbus Zoo is so great about, is getting that message and that awareness out. So please everybody, have a great time. We're doing this for Jack, we're doing this for the Columbus Zoo, and we're doing it for all the animals. Enjoy Wine for Wildlife. I know I will.
Hi, my name is Pete Lee. I'm a stand-up comedian, and what is my favorite animal at the zoo? It definitely has to be the giraffes. I'm sorry. It's definitely you, Simba. You're my favorite animal at the zoo, and I love you so much. And the giraffes, no good compared to you. I love you. Was that too soon? Anyway, thank you guys for supporting Wine for Wildlife. I know you guys are getting all tipsy and boozy on the wine, and you're like, this is for a good cause. So please donate tonight, and thank you so much. All right, bye-bye.
Hi everyone, this is Jungle Jack Hanna coming to you from the Columbus Zoo. I want to thank you all for participating in this year's virtual Wine for Wildlife. While the format may feel different, the reason you are here remains the same: your love for wildlife and the importance of conservation. Since 2009, guests attending Wine for Wildlife have helped to raise over $1.5 million for the zoo's conservation partners and projects in the U.S. and around the world. I am grateful for your heartfelt generosity and hope you will continue to show your enthusiasm for wildlife and conservation this evening. Thank you for supporting wildlife in wild places.
Good evening, and welcome to the 2020 Wine for Wildlife Conservation fundraiser. As you can tell, things are a little different this year, and while we wish we could be together to enjoy a meal, some fine wine, and good company, we sincerely appreciate you joining this virtual event from the safety and comfort of your home. What's not different is the cause: saving wildlife and wild places. Building connections with wildlife and inspiring people to help protect these species' future is what the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium is all about. It's the very soul of what we do, and it's never been more important. While the global pandemic has deeply affected us in so many ways, it's during the challenging times that we also rediscover our resilience and strengths. This year has reminded us how important our community is and the incredible far-reaching impacts all of us can make together. However, the pandemic has also severely affected what we and our partners will be able to do in the coming year, potentially jeopardizing the momentum of the conservation work that we're known for. Wine for Wildlife supports the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium's conservation efforts both locally and globally. Since 2009, you have helped raise more than $1.5 million for these efforts. Tonight, we ask you to renew your commitment to the people working the front lines of conservation, whose resources have become even more limited due to the pandemic. These wildlife heroes have never needed our support more. As we get this important event underway, I'd like to thank our presenting sponsors: the GALVIN Family Foundation, provided by the Johnson Charitable Gift Fund, and Kim and Steve Germain. I'd also like to thank our dinner sponsor, Catering by Scott. Now, top off your glass and get ready to be inspired. I think you'll really enjoy what we have in store for you this evening as you join us in making a difference for wildlife.
Thanks, Tom. Hello, Kevin and I are honored to be the committee chairs again this year. We'd like to thank the members of the Wine for Wildlife Committee for their dedication and commitment of time and effort to ensuring the success of this important fundraiser for the zoo. Tonight, you'll learn how your support impacts much-needed conservation efforts in these challenging times. Not only will you hear from people around the world, including familiar faces from the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium, you'll also hear from some passionate animal ambassadors and what conservation means to them. And perhaps you'll even see a surprise guest or two.
Now, we'd be remiss if we didn't direct your attention to the incredible auction items up for bid tonight. You can view them by going to the web address or scanning the QR code on your screen. We have one-of-a-kind zoo experiences, exceptional wine lots to choose from, and opportunities to name some incredible animals. A portion of tonight's program will focus on the critical emergency project the zoo supports. These projects will not happen without your support and generosity. Thank you once again for joining us this evening. Now we invite you to sit back, relax, and learn how you can impact the fascinating conservation projects at the zoo and around the world. Cheers.
Good evening. I'm Mike Krager, Vice President of Conservation and Sustainability here at the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium. For 11 years, Wine for Wildlife has been a cornerstone of our conservation initiatives, raising over $1.5 million for programs crucial to wildlife and ecosystems around the world. Sadly, this year's global pandemic makes these already dire situations even more desperate. But tonight is not about doom and gloom. We can still make a difference. So to kick off tonight's program, we've asked several of the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium's conservation partners to tell us what your support means to them.
Good evening, welcome to Borneo. You are with me, Marc Ancrenaz, in Sabah. For the past 22 years, we have been running the Kinabatangan Orangutan Conservation Program, or HUTAN. Columbus Zoo has been one of our first partners. So it has been a long story with you guys, a story that span over more than 20 years. I'm very sorry to not be able to be with you tonight. I hope that you will really enjoy the evening, but I'm sure that some of you know me and I know some of you because I have been to Columbus maybe 7 times over the years and I really miss it. I wish you a very good night and of course, thank you for your support.
Hi everybody at Columbus Zoo and Aquarium, it's Michael and Rebecca from the New Nature Foundation. Nice to be with you virtually tonight. We just wanted to say thank you very much for all of the help that you've given us over the years, for our work in Uganda since the very beginning of the project, almost 15 years now, and recently in Vietnam as well. This habitat protection work that you've been funding protects all of the beautiful famous species like chimpanzees and elephants, but all of the other animals in the ecosystem as well, all of the butterflies and snails and birds and weird species of pigs and antelopes that nobody's ever seen at a zoo, but exist out in the real world and are benefiting from your help.
Really generous donations that you have been able to provide to New Nature Foundation in Uganda and Vietnam have been so important to our legacy there, and all of those programs are going on this year with very little funding, so we really hope that we can continue to work together. We have really important and significant relationships with people all over the world, and it's all in partnership together, and we hope that we can continue to do this work for many years to come.
Hi everyone, my name is Shivani from Ewaso Lions, a 100% African organization based here in northern Kenya. This spectacular landscape that you see behind me is home to a very important lion population, a population that our team has worked really hard to protect over a number of years. In 2008, we received our first grant from the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium, and this was a game changer because it allowed us to grow our team and expand our efforts throughout this landscape. It has been a challenging year this year. The threats to lions really are increasing, but as a result of our community programs and working hand in hand and in partnership with communities, our lion population is stable. We are so grateful to all the support we have received from the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium and all of you, our supporters, who have made such a tremendous impact and difference to our efforts here in northern Kenya. So from all of us at Ewaso Lions, thank you so much for everything you do for us. Bye from Samburu.
Those are just a few of the more than 360 conservation projects that we've supported around the world over the last 5 years. These projects involve people working in education and capacitation, research, alternate livelihoods, species biology, and policy. By supporting Wine for Wildlife tonight, no matter what the amount, you're supporting a holistic approach to conservation that is making a difference for the future of the world's wildlife.
Myself, Dave, Adrian, and Brannon hope that you are having an amazing time this evening celebrating conservation and making conservation of species around the globe possible. Cheetahs are one of the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium's signature species. We not only work with scientists right here in the US to ensure a safe future for cheetahs. For instance, these two were the first cheetahs ever to be born by in vitro fertilization, a huge step forward for cheetah populations out in the wild. But we also work closely with cheetah conservation groups. For instance, this year we received an award from the Cheetah Conservation Fund for our continued relationship with all of the amazing work they do. CCF not only works with cheetahs in the wild, they employ local villagers, they form partnerships with ranchers to make sure that wild cheetahs stay safe, and they represent the interest of conservation on the world stage, fighting illegal wildlife trafficking and the illegal pet trade all across Africa and Asia. Dave and Adrian are two of the amazing ambassador animals you can meet here at the Columbus Zoo if you book one of our tours. You can also go online and keep checking out our amazing auction items that we have. A lot of people pair wine with cheese. I prefer to pair wine with cheetahs, but only off the clock. Thank you guys for tuning in and enjoy the rest of the program.
Hello, Wine for Wildlife. My name is Nina West. My favorite animal probably here at the Columbus Zoo is the manatee. I love that they're just these big, beautiful, like aquatic mermaids that are really just giant cows. It kind of feels like a little familiar. But I love the manatee, I love the gorilla, I really love all the animals here. What a great facility this is. Which wants me to tell you that I think you should really consider giving tonight. Conservation and efforts of protecting our wildlife start right here at the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium as we educate all of these wonderful people who come through those gates. Columbus Zoo and Aquarium has been home to me for many summers as I grew up coming to this incredible facility, and it's a fixture in Central Ohio, and it's in fact the best zoo in the world. But for it to continue to be the best, we need your help. So maybe consider donating tonight and consider continuing the conversation of education, conservation, and of course protecting our species. So have a wonderful night and get to giving.
Saving animals doesn't only take place half a world away. Many of the most impactful projects we support happen right here in the United States, with some being right in our own backyard. The first program works with one of the most amazing creatures you've never heard of and might make you think twice, in a good way, the next time you dip your toes in one of Ohio's waterways.
So the eastern hellbender is North America's largest amphibian. It's an aquatic salamander, a totally aquatic salamander. They live in streams such as the one behind me, underneath large boulders, large rocks. Their population seemed to be declining because of loss of habitat, and specifically that's degradation in water quality. And as we have more soil eroding and being washed into the streams, those rocks that they live under and breed under are being encapsulated and buried by the silt. And so what we're trying to do, we want to preserve the populations of hellbenders that we have. So that means maintaining the stream quality and making sure there's not a whole lot of erosion happening. But we would also like to restore the historical populations where we know there have been hellbenders in the past in Ohio. To do that, we formed a collaboration of zoos that hatch eggs at their facilities and raise those baby hellbenders for several years. That gives us a lot of baby hellbenders that we're then able to put back to some of these streams where hellbenders used to live. If that stream has good habitat, then we feel we can put these babies back in and maybe have them survive. So that's just what we've been doing today. We first started releasing zoo-reared hellbenders in 2012, and since then the Ohio Hellbender Partnership has released over 1,500 hellbenders to the streams of Ohio.
Human-wildlife conflict and habitat loss is something that most people probably equate with far-off places, the rainforest, the savanna. But with the continued expansion of urban areas, this is also a problem that also affects us right here in Columbus. And while most affected animals aren't what we'd call exotic, they're no less important to our ecosystems. The Columbus Zoo has been a longtime supporter of the Ohio Wildlife Center, whose mission it is to rescue, rehabilitate, and release animals back to their own local habitat.
The Columbus Zoo has been a valued partner of Ohio Wildlife Center since its inception over 36 years ago. With the support from the Columbus Zoo, we've been able to launch some wonderful conservation initiatives, such as our Lights Out Columbus program. Lights Out Columbus is a program where we go into the city of Columbus during the migratory season in the spring and the fall, and we save migratory birds by getting animals who hit windows, and we bring them to our clinic. We give them the necessary care that they need, and then we put them back on their way so that they can migrate either south or north, depending on the time of year. During this year, the pandemic year, our challenges have really been without having any of our volunteers. We have over 250 volunteers, and we had to ask them not to come to the center. And we also found that we have about 25% more animals coming to our hospital. With the support from the zoo, we were able to keep our doors open. We were able to feed, take care of these animals, and rehabilitate them back to the wild. We cannot do what we do without the Columbus Zoo, and we cannot do what we do without people like you. Thank you so much for believing in us and helping the Ohio Wildlife Center.
We hope you're enjoying the program so far, and I always love being reminded that some of nature's most amazing wildlife can be found right here in our own backyards in Ohio and all across the United States. For instance, we have my good friend Sophie. Sophie is a gorgeous swift fox. They are found way out west, and even though she's pretty still right now, they are the fastest foxes on planet Earth. And speaking of things that are moving pretty quickly, make sure that you're checking all of our online auction items and our fund a need throughout the evening. We have some incredible experiences, some really rare and amazing bottles of wine. And if you've had your eye on them, you already put your bid in, a lot of other people out there, they're trying to go after those things as well. So keep checking those items throughout the evening, because I personally want you to get that bottle of wine or that amazing tour. Not the person next to you, I'm talking to you. I just want you to have it.
In Bozeman, Montana, we support People and Carnivores, an organization that helps local people and communities coexist with some of the nation's most iconic carnivores.
So my name is Bryce Andrews. I'm the field director for People and Carnivores, and we're a small Montana-based conservation group that works to reduce conflict and promote coexistence between human beings and big carnivores like grizzly bears, wolves, mountain lions, and black bears. People and Carnivores has come up with a number of solutions and conflict reduction tools. We cost share on livestock guardian dogs. We build electric fences around crops and livestock pastures that could be potential sources of conflict. We pass out and help people to get grizzly-proof or grizzly-resistant trash bins, and we put up a lot of food storage structures in the backcountry. So we basically work in all sorts of ways, both with practical projects like that and educational ones like community meetings and workshops for people who are active in the field. One of the things I notice when I'm at a zoo is how much a place like this allows people to connect with individual animals. And I believe that that's what actually makes people into advocates for species. I feel very lucky in that I'm able to live and work on the edge of a wilderness area and in the wilderness, but a lot of people don't have that opportunity. And so a zoo is a place where they can forge a similar connection in a way that makes them advocates for the kind of places and species that I love. I would also say that Columbus Zoo's financial support over a long period of time has allowed us to do the work that we need to do at a meaningful scale, so that's also very important. We at People and Carnivores want to thank the supporters of the Columbus Zoo for everything that you've done for us and for the way that you've supported our ability to do work for animals like these in the field. Thank you.
And finally, while you can't list manatees as local wildlife, you can find the largest manatee rehabilitation program outside of the state of Florida right here in Central Ohio. Since Manatee Coast opened in 1999, our team has rehabilitated orphaned and injured manatees, with 27 being able to be returned and released to the waters of Florida. In fact, just a couple weeks ago, we welcomed the 32nd and 33rd manatees to the program.
Our most recent additions to Manatee Coast are Squirrel and Scampy. They just got here a few weeks ago, and we're excited to have them. Squirrel and Scampi are both orphans. Squirrel is actually one of the smallest manatees that have ever come through our doors here at Columbus at just 133 pounds. Squirrel was actually found without a mom, bonding to a large rock. Scampi was rescued with her mom, who was recently struck by a boat. Unfortunately, Scampi's mom did not survive her injuries and passed away. Most of the manatees we get here are orphans, and once they're here, our job is to fatten them up, to make sure that they're learning all the things that they need to learn to become big manatees for eventual release back into the waters of Florida. The manatee rehabilitation program here in Columbus is so important. Not only are we rehabilitating animals for eventual release into native Florida waters, but we're educating the public on these fascinating creatures. As zoo staff, it is so satisfying to see these animals come into our program very young, very weak, and leave very strong and be released back into the Florida waters. There's nothing better than to see this. On behalf of Stubby, Squirrel, and Scampi, and all of the staff here at Manatee Coast, thank you so much for your support of this important program. We could not do it without you.
As you can see, global conservation starts right here at home, and your generosity helps the animals and ecosystems in our community, as well as communities across the United States.
We certainly hope that you are enjoying the program so far this evening, and Grover is my good friend sitting here. She is a hyacinth macaw, the largest species of macaw on planet Earth, and Grover came to us in a little bit of an unfortunate way. She was part of a mass confiscation of dogs, cats, and exotic birds that were all being kept in an abandoned house in Alabama. With amazing support from our community and supporters like yourselves, we were able to find homes at zoos across the country for Grover and 15 other birds. Wildlife trafficking is something that affects us both domestically and internationally, and Grover is so excited that everyone is here showing their support for our amazing causes. Throughout the evening, you can not only show your support through our Fund a Need online, you can check out our amazing auction items and meet animals just like Grover right here up close and personal at the Columbus Zoo.
Hi! Hello everyone, I'm Kelsey Webb from the WNCI Morning Zoo. And sometimes I feel like I live in a zoo, so it's only normal and natural that I love the Columbus Zoo. I mean, who doesn't? I want to thank you so much for your participation tonight in Wine for Wildlife. I hope you're sipping some wine and ready to donate some money, because your contributions tonight help the animals at our zoo and all around the world. My favorite memory of the zoo or experience is remembering when I would go to the zoo as a little girl. I'd come here from Youngstown and walk into those gates and just know how beautiful those animals were and just falling in love with all of them. And now I get to do the same thing with my kitties. Kip, what's your favorite animal at the zoo? Is it a dinosaur? Can you go roar? Fine. Whatever. Thank you so much, and go Buckeyes.
Hi all, my name is Fanny Minezi and I'm directing the program of Lolaya Bonobo in the Republic Democratic of Congo. I want to take this opportunity to send a giant thank you to Columbus Zoo and to Columbus people in Ohio for their support for more than 20 years. You have been providing critical support to our bonobo rescue and rehabilitation work for more than 20 years, helping us saving many thousands of orphans bonobo from the traffickers, helping us building our biggest enclosure in 2014, and supporting our conservation education program, allowing thousands of children to discover how fascinating and important are bonobos. So from all our team, a giant thank you for your support for more than 20 years.
Tonight you've learned about some of the projects that are directly benefiting wildlife locally and around the world. Now, none of this work would be possible without you. Your support continues to empower communities working to coexist with wildlife, raises important public awareness, provides necessary supplies, and helps support scientific research to learn more about animals' needs. Sometimes, however, conservation needs arise that are unplanned, and these can often be the most urgent and the most tragic if action isn't taken. So tonight, we're calling your attention to another critical component of our conservation program, our Emergency Grants Fund, which is tonight's Fund a Need. This fund allows us to respond quickly when there is a wildlife emergency anywhere in the world, which, unfortunately, due to climate change, the illegal wildlife trade, and many other factors, is occurring more and more frequently. For example, in 2019, bushfires raged through Australia, killing or displacing what is now believed to be over 1 billion animals and devastating their habitat. We provided emergency funds to Zoos Victoria and the Australia Zoo to assist with veterinary care for rescued wildlife, including koalas suffering from burns. These funds also supported providing supplemental feeding to wildlife now living in areas where food is scarce, and helping Australian zoos plan for future bushfire emergencies. In Africa, it's estimated that there are only 7,100 cheetahs left in their native range, making the cheetah the rarest of the great cats. So when the Cheetah Conservation Fund told us they received cubs seized from the illegal wildlife trade in Somaliland, and that without our help, some of them may not survive, we stepped in and provided funds to purchase medicine and food, as well as provide guidance based on our cheetah rearing experience at the zoo and at the wilds. In Western Africa, in Cameroon, after a truck destroyed a bridge connecting the Sanaga Yang Chimpanzee Sanctuary to the mainland, we provided funding for the purchase of a boat that allows staff to get food, supplies, veterinarians, and other resources to the sanctuary. In Madagascar, off the coast of Africa, hundreds of radiated tortoises destined for the pet trade were confiscated by authorities. The Columbus Zoo provided monetary support for the care of these endangered animals, as well as husbandry support by sending a staff member to aid in their care. And in South Africa, thousands of lesser flamingo chicks were abandoned by their parents when the water in the nesting area at the Kempfer Dam dried up due to drought. We provided emergency funds to the Pan-African Association of Zoos and Aquaria to support their flamingo rescue efforts. We were also able to send keepers from our zoo's shores and aquarium region to provide urgent, hands-on care to these animals, as well as train local people on how to care for these chicks. Many of these birds have since regained their health and have been successfully released. Wildlife emergencies are, unfortunately, increasing across our planet. But with your support, we can continue to rise to the challenges of future emergencies. Now, if we were all together in person, this is the point where we would ask everyone to raise your bidding cards and give an amount that is truly meaningful to you. Tonight, we ask that you follow this QR code with your phone's camera, or follow the link on the screen to donate to the Fund a Need right now. Any amount helps, and your support truly will make a big difference.
This evening, we've all had the enormous privilege to hear about the amazing conservation work that our Emergency Wildlife Fund has been able to do in the past. But now it's time to think about the future. My friend Wilson here is one of the slowest moving mammals on the face of the earth. And even though we'd all like to channel our inner sloth, now is anything but the time to act slowly. All of the work that we are able to do around the globe to help save wildlife, to help respond to wildlife emergencies as they pop up in the moment, we are able to do because of the support that you are able to provide us. So right now, if you're able, we're going to show you that QR code. All you have to do is take a picture of it with your cell phone camera, follow the link that pops up, and you'll have the opportunity to support wildlife conservation all around the globe, both for things that we know are coming up and for emergencies that we have no way of predicting. And it doesn't matter what your donation level is, every single amount makes a difference. Every single amount can help. If you're donating at the 1737 Chateau Margaux Pinot Noir level, that's fantastic. If you're more of a, this is all I would normally spend on a box of wine for my friends, that's great as well. Any amount helps. Everything goes to securing a safe, prosperous, and sustainable future for wildlife all around the globe. The amazing work you've been hearing about tonight, that's only possible because of you, your contribution, and your devotion to wildlife conservation. We implore you to give as much as you can. Any amount makes a difference, and we can't do it without your support.
Hi, I'm Rick Hudson, president of the Turtle Survival Alliance based in Charleston, South Carolina. TSA is a global organization with a simple mission, making sure that no turtles or tortoises become extinct on our watch. Support from Columbus Zoo and Aquarium's conservation program has made our work possible, and from day one, you have been one of our most devoted supporters. And whenever there was a crisis that demanded our attention, Columbus Zoo was there to lend a hand. When we were faced with saving 10,000 radiated tortoises seized from poachers in Madagascar, you were there not only with financial support, but with personnel as well. The bottom line is that TSA would not be the organization we are today without the long-standing support of the Columbus Zoo and the people of Columbus, Ohio. Simply put, we couldn't do this work without you, and we always know that we can count on you in a crisis, and for that, we're incredibly grateful.
G'day, my name's Dave Sharp, and I'm from the Save the Tasmanian Devil program, and I'm speaking with you today from Tasmania, a small island state off the south coast of the Australian mainland and the home of the Tasmanian Devil. The Save the Tasmanian Devil program is incredibly fortunate to have a relationship and a friendship with Columbus Zoo, a friendship that started with my delivering 3 Tasmanian devils to the zoo's facilities, getting the chance to meet the staff and overseeing the devils settle into their new home in Columbus, Ohio. Tasmanian devils are an incredibly unique species, but they are under threat from a very rare contagious cancer known as devil facial tumour disease. This disease has wiped out about 90% of wild Tasmanian devils, but it's through the support of Columbus Zoo that we're able to address this decline and even to start to reverse it. So I want to say thank you to the people of Columbus Zoo, to the people of Columbus, Ohio. Thank you from all of us at the Save the Tasmanian Devil program, and thank you from the Tasmanian Devils themselves. Please continue to support this zoo. They are amazing at what they do, and it is through their support that we are able to continue what we do. Tasmanian devils will not go extinct. We won't let that happen, but we need your help. Thank you so much.
On behalf of the Columbus Zoo and our conservation partners around the world, thank you for your support for tonight's Fund a Need. It will truly make a difference for wildlife and wild places.
All right, folks, well, that about wraps it up for us tonight. We want to thank you for hanging out with us this evening, if you will, and hearing about the amazing work that our Fund a Need emergency wildlife grants let us do around the globe. If you haven't yet, you can go ahead and donate to that fund. Any amount is super, super helpful. And if you've enjoyed our program tonight, if you've liked hearing about conservation, if you know someone who wants to make a difference for animals all around the globe but doesn't know how to get involved, share this video with them and give everyone you know the opportunity to make a difference for wildlife and conservation. You've been a fantastic audience. You all look great out there, and we want to say thank you for joining us this evening. Have a great rest of your day.
We hope you enjoyed this year's Wine for Wildlife presentation and that you leave tonight feeling inspired by the stories we've shared and the important direct impacts we've made for people and wildlife. Despite a very trying year, the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium's commitment to being a leader in global conservation remains unwavering. Thank you again to all of our sponsors. This event would not have been possible without their continued commitment. I also want to thank the Wine for Wildlife team under the leadership of Suzanne and Kevin Larson for thinking outside of the box when it was clear that we could not do an in-person event. But most of all, I appreciate you joining us as we strive to make the world a better and safer place for wildlife. These species are irreplaceable, and like you, I can't imagine our world without them. We hope to see you again next year in person. Until then, thank you and take care.
Thank you for your support tonight. We want to take this moment to recognize a special person who was the backbone of this event over the last 11 years. Earlier this year, the zoo lost a co-worker and we lost a friend in Patty Cotty. The past Wine for Wildlife events would not have been possible without her drive, determination, and support. She will be greatly missed.
Hey, it's your J. Divine Martino from Magic 95.5, and I want to start off by thanking you for participating in this year's virtual Wine for Wildlife. This is our 12th year holding this most important event, and tonight's proceeds will go toward the support of the zoo's conservation partners and projects in the U.S. and around the world. So support conservation and wildlife by giving tonight. No amount is too small.
Hey guys, it's Chris Davis. Just want to say thank you very much for participating in Wine for Wildlife, our 12th year, as I'm sure you've heard. It's very important to all the support that we're pulling together to do tonight for the Columbus Zoo's partners and projects in the U.S. and around the world. My favorite thing about the Columbus Zoo, well, my favorite moment there, I got engaged there. Last year, it was the night after Thanksgiving. Thank you, Columbus Zoo, for being a part of that. Shauna, my fiance, she's running the camera. You want to say hi?
Bye, love you, Columbus Zoo.
We love you, Columbus Zoo, and we love all of you for coming out and supporting, or rather, I guess, staying in and supporting as we do it virtually. Remember, no amount is too small. Thank you. It's really important.
Saludos desde Costa Rica. I'm Milena Zanella and I work for Misión Tiburón, a Costa Rica no-profit organization. Our aim is to promote the conservation of our sharks and our oceans. For 10 years, the Columbus Zoo has supported our work. Thanks to this, we have identified and protect a nursery ground for the endangered scalloped hammerhead shark. The government of Costa Rica recognized the nursery area and declared a shark sanctuary, the first shark sanctuary of Costa Rica. Also, we have involved more than 5,000 children in educational activity. We have trained 200 personnel from government institutions to improve the management and protection of our marine resources. I take the opportunity to thank the Columbus Zoo and the people from Columbus, Ohio, to support our work, our oceans, and our sharks. Thank you.
Hi there, I'm Micah Dixon, and thank you for being a part of this year's virtual Wine for Wildlife. I remember being at the zoo and watching the polar bears dive in the water to catch the fish. Literally seeing their teeth and jaws shut was amazing. Support conservation and wildlife by donating tonight. No amount is too small. Thank you for spending the evening with us. OHIO.
Thank you for taking part in the virtual Wine for Wildlife. I'm animal lover Andy Clark from 92.3 WCOL. Proceeds from tonight, the zoo's 12th year to hold this event, support the Columbus Zoo's conservation partners and projects in the U.S. and around the world. I'll try it then. Keep watching. You'll see how your donation will help wildlife. No donation's too small. We're going to take your donation, combine it with everybody else's. It's going to make a huge impact. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Trisha Gibson. I'm a research associate and education director at the Columbus Zoo Freshwater Mussel Conservation and Research Center. Freshwater mussels are a critical part of river ecology as they are nature's filter pumps and they act as bioindicators for river health. Our research here includes host identification, in vitro, and propagation to aid in the efforts to boost Ohio's imperial mussel populations, as several species are either considered threatened or endangered at the local, state, and federal levels. We would like to thank the Ohio State University the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, and the Columbus Zoo, which enable us to continue to work to restore freshwater mussels to the streams and rivers of Ohio.
Hey there, it's Boxer. I do the afternoon show weekdays 3 to 7 on 92.3 WCOL. Welcome to the 12th annual Wine for Wildlife event. This year obviously is virtual, but there are many ways that you can help support the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium's funding of amazing projects, not just here in the U.S., but conservation projects around the world. So keep watching and seeing how you can be a part of it. You can pick and choose your favorite project you'd like to be a part of too. Thank you for watching and being a part of our virtual Wine for Wildlife.
Hey guys, thank you for supporting Wine for Wildlife tonight, in this wild and crazy year. All the funds raised tonight will go to help support the conservation projects that our Columbus Zoo is participating in, both locally and globally. By your participation tonight, plus the auction that is amazing, so please keep bidding, you are making an impact on wildlife conservation.
So, as we all adjust to 2020 COVID style, let's raise our glasses to all the Zoom team members that have and continue to give so much to keep Columbus Zoo one of the best in the land. Thank you for being a part of a special Wine for Wildlife this wild year. Cheers.
Keep up the good work. Columbus, I'm Monica Bond with the Wild Nature Institute. We're working to save giraffes in Tanzania through conservation research and community education. Giraffes are loved throughout the world, but they're endangered. Our conservation and research is learning where giraffes are doing well and why, so we can implement conservation measures that help people and giraffes to thrive together. We also inspire the next generation of Tanzanian conservationists with our Celebrating Africa's Giants education campaign, which has reached more than 26,000 school children in Tanzania and trained more than 200 teachers. All of this would not have been possible without the financial support from the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium and the people of Columbus, Ohio. Thank you so much for sticking your necks out for giraffes.